What is good, Lottery Stocks fam? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Today we have a ton of stuff to cover with Bitcoin, AMC, GameStop, the overall market, and what is about to happen this week. So I want to prep you for it. Hopefully you're watching this before market opens on Monday. Without further ado, all I ask you to do is please hit the like button. It helps me out. It gets the video out to more apes like you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. What we have in front of you is GameStop overlaid over Bitcoin. I wanted to bring up one thing because Bitcoin is in a rally. The market is in a rally, but GameStop as well as AMC are lagging behind. And a lot of retail traders are wondering why. One thing that I wanted to note, and I don't have everything put together here, is that GameStop has just reached the same level Bitcoin reached when it hit its low. Yes, this is percentage fixed overlaid over the chart, so it does match up. Of course, the prices are different, but the percentages stay the same. They remain the same. GameStop has just hit the low finally that Bitcoin previously hit. Now, this doesn't always have to happen to a T, but if we take a look at Bitcoin, the high that it hit in November of 2021 down to the low that it hit was down about 77 to 78%. And if we come take a look at GameStop, the same high that it hit all the way to the top wick, dragging that down the same percentage, about 77.5%, is bringing us right to where we're trading at right now, which is around $14. We are now sitting at $14.65. So lottery stocks, what does this mean going forward? Well, it could mean, for one, that GameStop only has upside from here, which is a very likely possibility, and I want to explain why. No, it's not to this macro scale that I have drawn out in yellow. However, I did want to point out one thing that I found interesting. If you take a look at the chart, this looks very close, doesn't it? This sell-off right here, this curve around, this U in the chart, which you could deeply see, especially if I remove drawings, you could see that U in the chart. And then this pop, this scale down, and then we start slowly, gradually moving higher. Why is this so important? Why is this so substantial? Well, if we come and we take a look at the institutional ownership for GameStop, you can see that institutions have been buying since December of 2022 to the same degree that they were purchasing back in 2020. If we take a look at this space where they weren't buying and it was extremely low, it was from June of 2021 to December of 2022. And if we come and we take a look, this is the time frame that occurred. Now, if we come back and we take a look at when they were actually purchasing, which was June 2019, that you can see right here, all the way to June of 2021. And then, of course, the space where we're at now, you take that bars pattern all the way up to this level where they let go, and then you drag it and put it over here where they started loading up again, you get that same exact cycle forming out, the same exact pattern forming. So do hedge funds, do institutions see something bigger over the horizon that we don't see? A market crash, a black swan event where GameStop and AMC squeeze again? Maybe, maybe not. Next up, I want to cover AMC. Institutions just started purchasing again. This is brand new. We come and we take a look at the chart. I wanted to show you guys something that you may or may not like, and it may or may not happen. We have been tracking this on AMC, and as you can see, I kind of adjusted the green cycles and the red cycles to sort of fit what AMC is doing and what it has been tracking, and it plays out closer. So I had to take a closer look at the charts, of course. If we take a look, previously this green cycle was about 76 days, and then the second one was about 59. The first one right here, roughly 71 days. The second one would be roughly around 55, right? Which would mean that would end March 28th to April 1st, roughly. If we take a look at the previous green cycle, that is when we would hit the very bottom before essentially gapping higher and scaling up, which means we would hit another low by April 1st, which is not something that we want to see. This is sort of the bearish and bullish case scenario, or we could just moon higher from here. Again, sometimes AMC lags behind GameStop, and if GameStop's following Bitcoin, lagging behind Bitcoin, institutions are purchasing it up. You kind of have to do your own due diligence here and weigh out the odds. Either way, bad odds and good odds show that there is going to be a rip over the next couple of months or so. This is just what I wanted to point out. It's just something that I've been watching and I've been tracking over the weekend. And now let's cover some things that are going to move the market, as well as AMC, GameStop, and things that we have to pay attention to. The Bank Term Funding Program will end tomorrow, March 11th, 2024, as scheduled, meaning that the Federal Reserve will stop making new loans to eligible institutions under this program. However, the existing loans will remain outstanding until they mature or repaid by the borrowers. The Federal Reserve has raised the interest rate on new loans from the Bank Term Funding Program since January 2024, and the total amount of loans outstanding as of January 17, 2024 was $161.5 billion. Now, the end of this program may have implications for the banking sector and the economy. On the positive side, it may indicate that the banking system has recovered from a crisis and no longer needs emergency support from the Federal Reserve. Okay, that'd be good. It may also reduce the risk of moral hazard, which is the tendency of banks to take excessive risk when they expect to be bailed out by the government. But on the negative side, it may reduce the ability and affordability of funding for banks, especially those that rely heavily on the Bank Term Funding Program. And we can see that banks are relying heavily on the funding program. This is the scale of the discount window borrowing during the banking crisis before the Fed created the BTFP and OCE. Roughly $80 billion was borrowed when Bank Term Funding Program was first created in March of 2023 and must be repaid within weeks of Bank Term Funding Program ending March 11th of 2024, which is tomorrow. FHLB loans are also due in April. So you have a lot of loans that are due in April once the Bank Term Funding Program is actually done, closed, and dealt with, which is right around the corner. Now, this may be bad, this may be good for the market. It may be bad for the market, likely, and good for meme plays. It may also increase the pressure on banks to sell their assets, such as the US Treasuries, at a loss to repay their loans, which could affect the bond market and interest rates. Now, we could go down the line, but I want to talk about a couple of things before we start the week. I don't want to spend too much time on that. One thing that we are paying attention to is the option chain is extremely bloated for AMC as well as GameStop, with over 260,000 call contracts as well as 140,000 put contracts. You can see that on Friday there was 393,000 short exempt volume on AMC, which is extremely high, and they dropped this thing below a support level, breaking it below 428. It ended up coming back and holding that support level by the end of the close that day. So that's just something to note, that they are trying to rip this thing down once again. If we take a look at GameStop to start the week, over 50,000 call contracts and over 16,000 put contracts, which is not extremely high, but more people are betting bullish. Short exempt volume was also high on Friday at 19,000 for GameStop. Now, there are no Fed speakers this week because the Fed is entering a pre-FOMC meeting blackout period ahead of the March 20 policy decision, which is going to be one of the largest catalysts that is going to move the market. But we also have CPI inflation that is critical coming out on Tuesday, which is the 12th. This is probably the most important catalyst this week. And a couple other things to note, not to scare you, but every market crash has happened before an election. 2000, 2008, in 2020, and the dark pool index has just collapsed on Friday, which is odd. Dark pools collapsing means big players aren't trading amongst themselves and are using regular exchanges instead. Does this mean that they are dumping on retail? Now, before we cover the SPY, here are some crucial or the most notable earnings happening this week. Oracle, ASAN, CASY all on Monday. Then you have Tuesday, KSSONON, ADM, WKHS. Watch Workhorse because that was an old squeeze play. And then MANU. Wednesday, Dollar Tree, WSM, Wolf, ARCO, Path, S, LEN, Zim. Thursday, ADBE, PDDG, DKS, Ulta, Blank, Futu. Shout out to Futu. And then Friday, JBL. Speaking of Futu, guys, if you want up to 15 free stocks, I'm going to plug this real quick. Use the top link, sign up for Moomoo, and deposit even a penny in there. They're going to give you up to 15 free stocks, each valued up to $2,000 per stock. It's a free broker. They keep your money insured. They give you level 2 order book data, access to trading options, going long, going short, a customizable earnings calendar, and more. So overall, great platform to use as a retail trader, and I have a ton of brokers myself. It's free money. Do it before the weekend is over. The link is in the top of the description, the very top. Also, pop in the Discord. We're getting a ton of new members. Come talk with me. Come talk with the most amazing people, stocks as well as crypto, all day long. Level up your trading journey. There are no bad questions in here. Whether you're a beginner or advanced trader, this is the place to go. Only a coffee a month. You're grandfathered in at this price for life. Plus, we have options trading alerts in there, and I post my trades when I take them in my personal portfolio, which there is going to be more of coming soon. Both of those links are right under the video and pinned in the top of comments. Now, let's touch on the SPY, the overall market. 511.72 on Friday's close. We are sitting on the weekly time frame. This thing has not gotten a cool off at all. We got a little bit of a cool off that I guess you could call a cool off on January 2nd, then February 12th, And then kind of this week, we are losing steam. If we're losing steam coming into Catalyst, that could show some room for downside. So just be aware for 503.50, 497.40, and then overall, this gap all the way down here to the 480 range on the overall market. If we have positive news, positive catalyst, watch 535, and then all the way up here between 550 and 560. Those are the two zones I'm watching, and we are trading directly in the mid-range of those. Now, something that is going to move the overall market is Nvidia. Not necessarily this week, but this week may have some volatility in Nvidia as we just got a nasty sell-off, and we have Nvidia's AI conference coming up on March 18th to March 21st, which is going to be extremely volatile for Nvidia, but not only for Nvidia, for AI stocks as well, for chip stocks, for AI cryptos, right? Which brings me into the next point. Ticker symbol ARM. ARM. Guys, this is a play right now, and it's not to the upside in my opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but the lockup period is ending for ARM. What does that mean? What am I talking about? 90% of the shares is held by one holder, and the lockup period basically says that they can't sell until a specific date, and that date is March 12th, which is this week. That doesn't mean they're going to sell right away, but in my opinion, if somebody held 90% of shares and they were just allowed to sell at a specific date, I would personally get out before then, which you could see selling pressure coming into the week just because of that, alongside Nvidia selling off. Okay, so I just want to put this on your radar. Also, if you don't believe Nvidia is in a bubble, take a look at this. All of these companies have a lower market cap put together against Nvidia. A couple last things to close out the video. Billionaire hedge fund investor Bill Ackman suggests Bitcoin could go to infinity and collapse the economy if demand continues to rise. Now, demand is going to continue to rise in my opinion, but these price predictions are just getting unreal. Closing out the video, I didn't really touch on Bitcoin, but we are testing 70K once again. I just want you to know that for all these coins to move once again, I want to see Bitcoin break above 80K for all of that steam to come back and have another leg up for all of these meme coins, all of these altcoins, etc., etc. If you haven't seen my crypto video I uploaded yesterday, make sure to go watch that. It's like right here. I'll leave it linked. That is it, guys. I love you. Get in the Discord, get your free stocks. Hopefully you enjoyed your weekend. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.